Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live and actually Fact News Network. Sorry, we're on Fact News Network, not Israeli News Live. And the situation that is going on right now over in the Middle East is very, very, very tense. Let me just share the screen here with you. As you guys can see here on the nationalnews.com, U.S. sends more B-52 bombers to the Gulf region in a warning to Iran. The U.S. has already sent quite a few B-52s over there, but then we're getting different friends are sending me messages here like this one here. Instant news alerts, breaking U.S. intelligence analysis detect Iranian air defense's maritime forces on high alert, but senior Defense Department officials acknowledge they cannot tell if Iran is preparing to strike U.S. troops or to retaliate if Trump orders a preemptive strike. So we really don't know the answer to this as of right now. Also, we had, as I reported on Israeli News Live the other day, this video footage here. This was Israel striking near Damascus, the airport near Damascus, very close to the official residence of President Bashar al-Assad. And that was yesterday morning when this happened here. And what's going on with these things here is that Iran has, as I mentioned over on Israeli News Live, Iran has moved ballistic missiles that we have no way of detecting when they're incoming. And they've moved them into places like Syria, Lebanon, and other places like that as well. So this is where the really serious issue is coming in right now. And granted, Iran is doing this because of the threat of an imminent attack. We're saying that this attack, as far as the U.S. is saying that Iran is going to do a retaliation for Soleimani, as well as, actually more, not so much Soleimani, but they're saying it because of Soleimani's anniversary of his assassination a year ago, coming up in 5 days. But also for their nuclear scientist that was killed just recently. And Israel has been attacking Iranian proxy forces inside of Syria for a long, long time now. So it's really, really, really a serious situation that is going on. And as I've said so many times before, it's a provocation. Israel has continually provoked Iran over the last, year and a half or so. And they said they're not going to stop bombing Iranian forces. Now, granted, it's not actual Iranians. Iran does have advisors. They do have, and I'm sure Iran plays it down as if they don't have any troops inside of Syria, but I don't believe that either. But nonetheless, Iran is there. Iran has been working with Bashar al-Assad to liberate that country, the country of Syria, from ISIS militants, from the U.S. and Israeli-backed fighters there, Turkish-backed fighters there. They've tried to do what they can to liberate this country. But now we're dealing with a situation that is just really spiraling completely out of control. We shared with you guys a little, not too long ago, from some good friends that we have that know these things, that they were trying to plan a false flag attack on American troops, not Iran, but U.S. Officials were trying to plan a false flag attack against U.S. troops to justify a war with Iran. And I kind of thought that would happen before the election, but it did not. So I would not be a bit surprised that we may still see something like that happen. And I know from other sources, I won't mention where or how, but there is a great concern that there is, we'll just say, a dirty device that is somewhere floating around the Middle East. Who is responsible for that? Well, that's a good question. I know that the origin was North Korea, point of origin. And but that has since changed hands. Where it's at, Nobody knows at this point. Could that be used? And then again, it may not even be a false flag. May just have ended up in the wrong hands altogether. But even so, could that end up in a situation that harms U.S. forces? Could it end up making its way near the country of Israel, putting Israelis at risk? Could it be something that ends up, in the Middle East, Iraq, one of those places there? The situation is extremely serious tonight. And I can't express enough to be praying. And when I say pray, we don't want to be biased in our prayers. So many people say, pray for Israel. Yes, pray for Israel, because there's a lot of innocent Israelis. If something happens, especially if some type of dirty device is used over there, then there'd be a lot of loss of life. And Harriet, that's exactly right. I don't want to say too much here, but you got the point. Pray for even the Iranian people. Pray for, how many innocent Iranians will end up dying as a result of a preemptive strike on Iran? And it's always because Iran may end up getting nuclear weapons. Iran is a nuclear power already. U.S. Israeli intelligence both know this for a fact. It's been confirmed to me by 3 different sources that it is a fact. So we're not trying to keep Iran from becoming a nuclear power. There's a different reason for all of this. And so quite frankly, I am concerned. I'm concerned for our American troops that are overseas. I'm concerned that whether it be false flag or something real, that they could be in harm's way as a result. And I know also the different proxies that Iran has made sure, as far as their closing moments here, they have put ballistic missiles in their hands. And they have their own orders. So again, so many people are at risk. I know that these clips on here are saying that Iran is on high alert. Iran is on high alert because Iran is trying to survive. And if Israel and the United States would back down, I think this could be diffused. But I don't know if that's going to happen. From everything that I am seeing, it's not going to happen. I personally do not think that Iran will strike first. I really don't think they will. But could something happen to where they're blamed for striking first? Sure it could be. Or could they even actually strike first? They're backed in a corner right now. Maybe they will. It's very difficult to say. But the one thing that concerns me the most when I'm thinking about Iran, they are the fastest growing Christian Muslim country, if that's what you were to call it there, in the entire Middle East. Look at Syria, Bashar al-Assad. They all want to make him look like he's some kind of war criminal. He never gassed his own people. No. He protects the Christian community of Syria. This war, though, will no doubt fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah 17. But I want to remind you, Isaiah 17 clearly in verse 10 shows God is not pleased with those that destroy Damascus. And he said, you do it because you've forgotten the God of your salvation and you are not mindful of your rock. So it tells me that both Christians and Jews who have forgotten their Savior, forgotten their God, have come against Damascus. And Iran, in their desperate attempt for self-preservation, maybe did not realize that when they send these ballistic missiles into the different places that they're doing, that may be one of the reasons that caused this downfall. But God doesn't hold them responsible. He holds, obviously, according to verse 10, Isaiah 17, I believe that's the verse we're thinking about. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up for you. He holds clearly, he holds the Jewish and Christian communities for that happening. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. And let me switch this around for you so you can take a look at this for yourself. We know that Damascus becomes a ruinous heap. It's taken away from being a city, right? It's what it says here. But when you get down to verse 10, what does he say? Let's look at verse 9. In that day, get you over there far enough, shall his strong cities be as forsaken places which were forsaken from before the children of Israel after the manner of woods and lofty forests, and it shall be a desolation. That's what happens to Syria's Damascus. For thou hast forgotten the God of thy salvation. See? Ki shachati, or ki shachat Elia Yisha'ach. See? You forgot the God of your salvation. And thou hast not been mindful of the rock of thy stronghold. See? Vetzur. There it is. Vetzur. Me'ezach lo zachrat. You haven't remembered, actually, is probably a better way to translate that right there. You haven't remembered the rock of your salvation. And Christians know that Jesus Christ is that rock. He says, in the day, verse 11, thy planting, thou didst make it to grow. In the morning thou didst make thy seed to blossom, a heap of boughs in the days of grief, of desperate pain. If you knew those words in Hebrew, you would realize that planting, especially as we go on down to the rest of the chapter, it is planting the seeds, basically, of discrepancy. That's what it is. God's not pleased with what's happening here. Not at all. And for me, my soul is just torn. Because I realize all the innocent lives that'll be lost as a result of this. It'll be in Yemen, just like it is in Israel. Israeli lives will be lost. Yemenite lives will be lost. Iranian lives will be lost. Syrian lives will be lost. Christians, Jews, Muslims. And for what? Because we got a bunch of aliens, devils in the background running everything? I'm very distraught in what I'm seeing. So anyway, I wanted to share these things with you guys, speak to you a little bit about from my heart here. There's a lot of things that are going on in the background, things I can't even speak about at this point right now. But do pray for everybody involved. People around the world need your prayers. And then on top of this, because I've also been told North Korea and China are closely going to be watching what happens. Russia has sent spy planes in to monitor the United States and Israel's latest technology that they will use. Israel has moved in their attack subs and are ready to launch strikes against Iran. One friend of mine shared with me that if Iran was not taken out within 24 hours, the retaliation that they will give back will be unprecedented. And if there is nuclear weapons used, especially in retaliation, I can only imagine what will happen afterwards. I've known for a long time that when the war with Iran came, that tactical nukes would be used. Those are underground bunker busters. So we're in a very serious hour. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Fact News Network. Thank you guys for listening. And I know, well, I'll just leave it at that right now. If God lays on your heart to support this ministry, we appreciate it. Our website, IsraeliNewsLive.org. And I know I've been speaking about getting the EMP shield more often here lately. And I'd realize that there are differing opinions on the EMP shield as well. I know the scientists behind this, and I know the tests that have been done. I know that the U.S. government has really done a lot of work with getting these installed in their own vehicles and infrastructure, and they care about their infrastructure. So, but it's just up to you. You pray about it. Let me just put it that way. But I spent the money to get it because I believe that it will help. But anyway, God bless you. Thank you for watching. Let me turn you around to the website. And by the way, Brother Gary, if you're listening tonight, thank you for being so kind to offer to help me get our mailing address updated on the website. But for an old redneck, I actually figured it out myself. So yes, Danoon Institute, P.O. Box 156, Sunbright, Tennessee. You can still click to donate online, either way. And but we appreciate that. We appreciate your love and kindness to us. If you do decide to get an EMP shield, don't forget INL50. That is a promo code you want to use. And let's see here if I can pull this up, EMPshield.com. And you would just go in there. You choose whatever thing you want it for. For me, it was mainly the vehicle. And when you add it to the cart right there, it'll ask you, let me just see here. Now, I'm going to just go ahead like I'm going to the cart because I think that's when it asks you, yeah, you're going to, here we go right there, right when it says apply coupon code. You just type in, as you can see on the screen, INL50, and then apply the coupon, and it'll discount it. I think it's $50 automatically. Yeah, it did. See, it did it right there. So, and like I said, just pray about it. I forget the technology. The actual scientist behind this, I know him personally, and maybe eventually I can get him on here with us on Israeli News Live to talk about the product and how it actually works. Because I know there are some people that think, oh no, this is just a surge protector or something. I don't understand the technology, so we'll just kind of leave it at that. All right. But I'd like to try to get him on so maybe he could share some of that with you guys. Anyway, thank you for listening. We appreciate you, love you, God bless you, and you guys have a great night.